I hope you're enjoying this. If you're catching us here, imagine start from the beginning. This is a journey that's starting from somewhere and headed somewhere. Rina, I interjected. I want you, now the question is for you to ask.
Yeah.
Over to you.
So, Pius, I was asking, we were talking about cash flow, right? And we've clarified that the outflow is not just my expenses.
It's not to you.
It's not,
It's not expensive.
not my expenses. I'm also being a blessing to others.
Yes.
And so what I wanted us to just kind of delve into now is the question of, I was looking at my current situation where I have a high schooler, we're moving to a stage where expenses are higher, potentially buying a house, investing, I don't know what, we're thinking about retirement. So you can be so absorbed in this, my needs. Okay, and I'm speaking for me and my friends, because there's also, we're in a sandwich generation where there's parents potentially that you're looking after, there's children that you're looking after, and you can be so consumed by this stage of our life. And so the question I'm asking is, how can you, where do we go next? How do we get to the place where I have a outflow, but not just my expenses?
Yeah. And also let me add, and we have the economy.
As it is currently.
Yeah. Today we are really going against the grain.
Here we are.
First of all, we've said time is not money. Time is not equal to money. Time is much more valuable than money. So that's one thing we've removed. Now, on this question of cash flow, the underlying question behind your question is the balance or the conflict between receiving and giving. Receiving is powerful, but giving is much more powerful than.
True.
And as long as you are giving, the receiving seems to just keep coming. Now, that's very difficult for a human mind to really conceptualize, but it's the way the world system is set. Yeah. Let me show you something. I pick something and I want to give it to you. Just receive it. Which hand is on top? Yes. The one receiving or the one giving?
The one giving.
The one giving. So the hand that is giving is always at the top of the hand receiving. Now, have you noticed something? The people who are always...
I need to ponder that thought. Where?
What?
Continue.
Have you ever observed something? That the people who constantly chase money seems to be elusive to them.
Yeah.
And have you noticed the people who don't seem interested in money seems to be chasing them. They're interested in other things, but money just keeps chasing them. This is the mystery of life. And this is the trap of life. The biggest trap to us being at our best is our needs.
Wow.
It's our needs, because our needs are like a blindfold.
Yeah.
You can't see past the blindfold. But if you only would remove the blindfold, we have a whole world to ourselves.
Now that's what I'm asking. How do you remove that blindfold?
So you have to come back to people. The greatest satisfaction in life comes from touching people.
That's true.
I don't know, everybody in this room has felt it. In the smallest thing you've ever done, like, oh my God, I did not know that's how good it feels. The other day, I was sent a fee structure for a young girl a couple of years ago. The mother called me, who is a relative, and said, I have 2 children who've just finished standard 8, and one has passed very well, a girl, and the boy has not done very well. I don't know what to do with two of them. I cannot afford, but I am not asking you, but I have surrendered my daughter to you. You decide to take her up and take her to school, or she will just perish at home. I was never given an option whether to take that up or not.
She told you.
She told me. She actually is my aunt. And I said, clearly I don't have an option. We will start with the first school fees. The first. I did not want to think 4 years. Say, we'll start with the first school fees. I said, how much is the school fees? She said the school fees. I went, spoke to my wife. We said, fine. We paid the first school fees. Another one. Another one. Another one. And the other day, she sent me the school fees and she said, this is the last one that you'll be paying. I cannot tell you the joy I felt in my heart that I took this journey.
So it's your sixth child.
You know, I actually wanted to interject and say this. People can be watching this and thinking, but this guy has a bank account filled with things. No. What I'm hearing is that it is a sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
This giving thing, it is you didn't already say, I have all this money to pay for all her years.
No.
You sacrificed and you took a step to just start.
Yes. There was no visibility of how I'll pay the second school fees. But, and it kept coming like a shock and surprise. And I'm like, man, I feel so inconvenienced. But I just said, because she told me, this is what she told me. If this child does not go to school, she'll stay at home. My mind could not take that up, you know. So we pay school fees. So this term, she said, you have just paid the final fees. From here is university. I was like, God.
Oh, university.
Yeah, as in from here, she can only join university. And she's an A student. I was like, I look forward to university. You know, all the pain I felt before was gone. I was like, it's such a joy to see someone who had no idea they would even make it through high school, to finish high school, and now we are even prospecting university. I said, I will pay through the nose. I don't know where the money will come from because I already have so many commitments, as you say. And by the way, she's not the only one. There are many others. But I'm just giving this one example. So there is something about touching people, and we don't have to have money to touch people. Wafula didn't have money to touch people. It is what you said. What do you have in your hands? What gift do you have in your hands? And once you have that, that's the gift that God gave you. And once you activate that, it leads you to cash flow. Now, this is where it gets very interesting.
People, cash flow.
Cash flow. The third one is time. I was meditating on this scripture. Sorry, I have to use verses here.
No apologies. Use them.
Yes, apologies and no apologies. Ephesians 5:15-16. As I just couldn't understand it. But this is what it says. It says, see that you walk circumspectly. See that you walk circumspectly. Not being a fool, but as wise. And then say, comma, redeeming time. Because the days are evil. Let me repeat that. See that you walk circumspectly. Think carefully. Be cautious. Be prudent. with every decision that you make. Not being a fool, but being wise. But you can actually delete all that because there's a comma there and go to the next sentence, redeeming time because the days are evil. And it comes back to the biggest thing of this life, that this verse saying, the greatest war, the greatest battle over your life is about time. From the moment you were born, your time started ticking. Until the last breath, the time stops. So the competition is around your time. What will you do? How will you account for your time? Now, the problem is, if all of us are working towards paying our bills, all of us are paying to build our homes, all of us are working towards owning a Range Rover, doing those things that serve us, then we have lost the battle, because we are likely to work forever. Those things are not satisfying.
And they're insatiable.
They're insatiable. There's no end to them. But then this is what really excites me. My needs are too small. My needs are too small because the world has such big problems that if I solve just one problem, the cash flow that will come will completely dwarf my needs.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Think about the person, we all use WhatsApp. The person who created WhatsApp, the person who created Netflix.
They were solving a problem.
The person who the person who created the phone. Those guys, they don't live by portfolios. They live because the cash flow coming cannot stop coming. Because they solve such a big problem that, what do you do with $1.5 million coming into your account every hour? Just tell me.
Sometimes people think of that in dollars. In shillings it is. Just give about 200 million
That's
shillings.
At least 200 million shillings every hour. What do you do with that? The thing is your needs are too small. And when you focus on our needs, we commit ourselves to poverty. But when you focus on solving people's problems, we completely open a new world where our needs are met automatically and our focus is something else. Anyway, my redefinition of success, my success is when I'll get there when I get to distribute 90% of our income. Yeah. And the 10% remains is more than enough to cater for my needs. Yeah. Then I know I'll be successful.
Okay.
I love that.
Do you have anything to add, Rina?
I'm just like, you learn every day.
I love what Pius said. We're about to enter the conversation about pay yourself first, but there's 3 points that you've brought in. People.
Actually, I forgot to connect this. The cash flows are meant to redeem your time. People, when you serve people, you generate cash flows. When you generate cash flows, you redeem your time because the cash flow is flowing, even when you're sleeping. And when you redeem your time, you get to do, or you now have a lot of money and a lot of time.
Oh. Okay.
Have I connected it?
You have.
So well
The circle is not
that we need to take a break and change some cards. The conversation continues.